So this is lesson 75B in Algebra 1. And sorry, I just ran out of time real fast, so I didn't get to finish everything. But there's what we had left. Now we're looking for the distance between the 2 points. So the first of all, we're looking at the distance between the y's. Well, here's one y. Let me get a different color here. Let's do. Here's one y. And here is the other y. Okay, so what you're doing here, let me see if I can explain this better. I need to know how far apart we are up and down. That's the key thing that I'm looking for, because here's one of my points and here's my other point. And if I'm looking for the change in y, I'm looking at the distance between the y values. I'm looking at the distance up and down. So in this one, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. The distance is 4. That's what the change is, or that's how far it is between here and here, or between here and here. And sometimes, some people, what they'll do is they'll draw a line like this, make a triangle, and say, okay, that one's 4. The distance between there is 4. Then they'll look and see how far they are apart this way. And we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're 9 away that way. Okay, so the change in x is 9, the distance between the two is 9, and the distance up and down is 4. Now, if you remember when I said we have a slope that goes down from left to right, that means I'm going downhill. That means it's negative. So my slope for that line is negative 4 over 9. Okay, let's look at another one. And get rid of all this junk here. Alright, so let's say that we have a line that goes that way. Now again, I'm going to look for 2 points on here that are at one of the crosshairs. So let's see, there's one there, and there's one here. Okay, and what some people do is they'll draw a straight down line here and a straight over line here. Okay, and where they cross, they'll erase the rest of that. Okay, so what we're interested in is y over x. So we're looking at how far it is from here down to here, how long this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And how far we are from here to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I get those two numbers, and I just put my up and down number over my left and right number. And then I see that my triangle, or my line, goes from left to right, uphill, and that means it's positive. So my slope to that is 8 over 15. Now if this were something like 8 over 16, you would just reduce it to 1/2. You don't have to leave it at 8 over 16 because it's just a fraction that you're reducing. Okay, so that's how you can find the slope of a line when you're given the graph. You just find out how far they are up and down from each other, and that's your top number, and left to right from each other, and that's the bottom number, and then look and see what the line's doing. If it's going uphill, that's going to be plus. If it were going downhill, it would be a minus. Okay? And we'll find some, as we get going on these, we'll find some other ways in order to find the slope that is easier and is able to help you get more information a lot quicker. Alright, so let's keep going here. So I'm going to draw a line here, and we're going to find the equation of that line. Okay? The equation, remember, y equals mx plus b. Okay. So the first number we're going to look at is the b. Where does that line cross the y-axis? Well, it crosses it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At that point right there. And that point is 5. So that b is a 5. Alright, so the only other thing we have to find is the slope, and we'll have the equation of that line. Alright, so again, we look at a place where there is a cross right there. So we'll call that one of our points. Doesn't really matter which one. You're going to get the right answer regardless of which points you choose. And let's choose this one right there. And then I'm going to draw a triangle. And now I'm going to take how far it is between here to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And from here to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, then it's always the up and down, the y value, over the x value. 6 over 7. Now is it going downhill or uphill? It's going downhill, so it's a negative. X plus 5, and then our y. There's the equation of that line. So the only thing you have to find is where it crosses the y-axis, and that's this number, and then you make your triangle, and it's going to be the up and down number, the y value, over the left and right number, the x value, y over x. And that gives you your slope, and then you look and see if it's going downhill or uphill. If this were going uphill, this would be a positive 6 over 7. Okay, so the next method, or the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be given the equation. We're going to go the other way. I'm going to give you the equation, and I'm going to ask you to graph it. Alright, so what do we have here? We have the slope is negative 3/5, so I know it's going to go downhill somewhere. And my y-intercept is 2, so that means it's going to cross the y line at 2. So let's go ahead and get this up here. So we know it's going to cross the y at 2. That's one of our points. We just need to find one other point. And we're going to use the slope in order to find that other point. Now remember, the slope was y over x. So y is negative 3 and x is 5. So starting here, we're going to move 3 places along the y-axis, up or down, and then we're going to move 5 left or right, this way. Okay? Because the 3 is negative, negative always means down, and when it comes to x and y, negative always means this way, left. So if we're right here, and this says negative 3, we're going to move down 1, 2, 3. And that gives us a point right there. Then we're going to move left or right 5. Now we're going to move right 5 because right is positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is a second point. Now we can draw a line from here to there. And there's the line, and there's the equation of the line that we just drew. That's all there is to it. If you know the slope, you start at your y-intercept, wherever it crosses your y-axis, and you go up or down, depending on whether that's negative, and then from that point you go left or right, depending on what that is. So let's try another one. Okay, this is example 75.5. Boy, it's raining outside. Can you hear it hitting the roof? It's windy and blowing, and sheesh. Alright, so first of all, this is the format, the slope-intercept form of the equation that our problem has to be in. This problem is not in that format, so we need to make some changes to it and get it in that format. So x minus 2y equals 4. We have to set it equal to y. So we're going to move the x value, and we're going to put it in the front. It always goes in the front. So we subtract it from both sides. Then we divide by negative 2, this whole thing by negative 2. And that gets rid of all that. That leaves me with y equals negative x plus, okay, leaves me that. Now I'm going to split these up. So I'm going to put this and this. So I've got y equals negative x over negative 2 plus 4 over negative 2. Okay, so all I did was took this here and put it over negative 2, and then took this here and put it over -2. So now I have this. Now I just have to clean it up a little bit. Two negatives give you a positive, and this, a negative and a positive, give you a negative. Okay? Alright, let's move all this out of here. Okay, so here's my final equation. It's in slope-intercept form. Now this here is a little tricky. Not really tricky, it's just, what number is in front of that x? There's a 1 in front of that x. So we can just take the numbers away from the x. Okay? So there's a 1 in front of the x, so I just took the 1 and the 2 and pulled it over and put the x next to it. Now I'm in this format, which makes it real easy to graph. Because my y-intercept is -2, that means I'm crossing the y-axis at -2. And from there, I find my next point. And this is, remember, the top number is y, the bottom number is x. So I go up 1 because it's positive, and then I go left or right 2. I'm going to go right 2 because it's positive. So there's my other point, and I draw my line. And is this a positive slope? Yes, it is. And this is a positive number. That 1/2 is positive, so therefore I have a positive slope. So I was going to do some problems from the book, but as I look at the book over lesson 75, they are exactly the same as the ones I just did. You're just going to have to practice, and they'll start coming, and you'll get these. So right now that's it for lesson number 75.